Mark Kelly is an amazing man. Not only was he an astronaut, but he is running for a Senate seat in Arizona, which could impact you-know-who's plans to fill Justice Ginsburg's seat on the Supreme Court. So please welcome Captain Mark Kelly. Hey, welcome back.
Welcome.
Well, it's great to be back. Thank you for the invitation.
Excellent. Now, we've been talking about the amazing woman that Ruth Bader Ginsburg was. And I know she had an impact particularly on women throughout the country. You and the fabulous Gabby Giffords, your wife, have some connection in a way to her. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, I will say that Friday was a very sad day for both Gabby and me, but especially for Gabby. RBG was like her ultimate hero. I'll never forget, the day that we got an opportunity to meet her. And I think people realize that Gabby has, suffered a little bit of, challenging walking from her traumatic brain injury. And RBG was in the room, and Gabby leaped out of her seat. I don't think I've ever seen her move so fast in the last 10 years to have an opportunity to meet her. It was a pretty special moment.
Right.
Captain
And I
Kelly.
have to say,
Sarah.
her life, and I have two daughters, and what that means for them with regards to women's rights and civil rights. She was just such an icon, and Friday was a sad day for the country.
Absolutely. Captain Kelly, the loss of Justice Ginsburg has led to a massive clash over replacing her on the Supreme Court, and you found yourself in the middle of it because if the confirmation process gets pushed past the election and you win your race, you could be seated in the Senate in time to vote. Have you given any thought to this scenario?
Well, I've given a little bit of thought. I think what's first important to recognize is that this is to complete the term of Senator John McCain. So regardless of who wins, once the vote is certified here in Arizona in accordance with the law, that person should be promptly seated to work for Arizonans. We have incredibly challenging issues we're facing here. And I think Arizona's ready for some independent leadership. They're concerned about health care, pre-existing conditions. They're concerned about protecting Social Security and Medicare. So in accordance with the law, when the election is done, I think it's important that if I was to win, that I get sworn in.
Captain, there have been calls by Democrats to fight back hard if the Senate moves ahead with confirming a Trump appointee. There's talk of expanding the court in the future or perhaps even doing away with the filibuster, which, as you know, Republicans have sort of politicized by using it to obstruct President Obama's agenda, compromising the Affordable Care Act, among other things. Where do you stand on this? Would that be the right tactic?
I don't think so. I mean, this shouldn't be part of the discussion. It's also very hypothetical, and it's kind of more of the same stuff from a broken Washington. I think what they should be focused on is how about a COVID relief bill? These threats are not, what Washington should be focused on at this time. Republicans and Democrats should be really focused on trying to solve this crisis.
So Cindy McCain, let's talk about Cindy. She gave a big endorsement to Joe Biden. I saw her on TV this morning. She's a very popular figure in your state of Arizona. How big of an impact do you think that endorsement will actually have on voters in Arizona? Do you think it will make a difference to you?
Well, I think it's the best endorsement anybody could get in Arizona. Senator John McCain, Meghan's dad, was a hero of mine, especially when I was a young pilot and also through my entire career as an astronaut. I was very honored to have the opportunity to meet him and then, and get to know him and call him a friend. So for the vice president to have Cindy McCain's endorsement, I think it's significant. But I'm not an expert on these things. I'm not a politician. But I think folks are really ready for change. And my sense is that will have a big impact here.
Well, Captain Kelly, this all feels very familiar. We're talking about my mother and my father. You're in my home state, and I'm very, very homesick right now, so I'm jealous you're in Tucson. But we're living in a uniquely divisive age, and I really respect that you have made it a signature issue to remain an independent thinker who crosses the aisle and can work with people on both sides. I think it's really important, and I think it's really important for Arizona. Can you just give me an example of an issue that you can see crossing the aisle to work with President Trump and other Republicans on?
Well, infrastructure. I mean, that's something our country really needs, especially here in Arizona. Meghan, as you know, we have 22 tribal communities. They're really suffering. They need roads and better criminal justice facilities. And the schools often need to be, many of them need to be rebuilt. I've visited a lot of these schools. So infrastructure would be, at the top of the list. President also talks about addressing the issue of the high price of prescription medication. So I'd totally be on board working with him on that. And for me, it doesn't matter if any idea is an idea from a Democrat or a Republican. If it's a good idea, I will work with anybody if it's in the best interest of our state and the best interest of our country.
Well, you could come work with us at some point, too. Now,